I got some criticism from some of my friends who watch my YouTube channel that I often talk about far out events in the future as if I will still be young or alive when they happen. So I love viewing celestial events, and we just had a great conjunction. And the next big one is in 2080. That one I'll probably still be alive. I hope to see a transit of Venus in 2117, and then in 2084 there is a transit of Earth, but from Mars, and so I'll be 97 years old. But I like to think I'll be fit enough to travel to Mars. I think by then a lot of people will be traveling to Mars, but only people who are fit, right? So for example, my grandmother, she is 90 years old. There's no way she would get on a plane and fly to the United States, right? Not to mention the risk of COVID-19, right? But I often talk about that as if that's something that will happen next year, or I'll still have a young body to enjoy it. I'll often talk about how there are a lot of things I want to do before I think about having children. I often talk about life as if it's possible for me to have children when I'm 50 and 60 years old and still be healthy enough to raise them. And I get a lot of criticism for that. People think I'm boasting. Actually, part of the reason I talk in those regards, two reasons actually. One of them is kind of just simple denial. I don't want to think about a day when I'm old or disabled or dying or anything like that. I love to watch unsolved mysteries, and one of the segments that hits me hardest is people who leave behind fortunes and they have nobody. They spent the last 10, 20 years of their life all alone, right? The last 10 or 20 years were almost like 2020 for them, right? And then they leave this fortune and nobody's claiming it, right? Or people with long lost families. Those hit me the hardest. There are other segments in there that are tough for other people to watch. Like there's senseless murders. There's missing persons. Those aren't so bad. I mean, but to think about being old, especially when all my family members are gone, that's going to be tough for me. Now, the other reason I love to think in those regards is that I often talk about lessons that I learned from life, but I often feel I don't get a chance to practice the lessons. I often learn them a little bit too late. So, for example, I'm recording this in early 2021. We have a pandemic going on. And the odds are we won't have another big, hopefully we'll never have another big pandemic like this, but when we do, it'll be a long time from now. And the wishful thinking that I'll live long enough to see another pandemic and still have the young body to do all the great things that I did during this pandemic, but even better because I learned all the lessons, that kind of helps keep me going. And I feel that if you think you're going to live forever, you're already halfway there, because you're going to do things that are under the assumption that you're going to live forever, right? And I feel it helps. Thanks for watching.